So now is the beginning, Queen Mother, so please be so kind as to introduce yourself to our new audience, and then please proceed. Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you in the spirit of my ancestors today, Chairman Daniels, and to our family. I've been preparing for court, and Queen Mother is fighting an issue which I brought before the United Nations in 2019 as well, social development of the United Nations, which for the historical record, they spoke about at our conference, homelessness. It had never been spoken about in 75 years of the United Nations. And you know that I was so moved in our World Conference by Social Development of the United Nations Commission, and was able to speak. But I spoke from the point of letting them know that as an elder, I understand that because Queen Mother is going through that, and being engaged with elders, those that may not be able to defend themselves. It behooves me to be able to have looked at what I had done for the community and more a humanitarian project, mothers with children in need. And the focal issue was dealing with shelter. Everyone have a right for shelter. And our mothers have seen some of them coming from the United Nations in the Grand Central Station, which that's a part of my walk pattern to the United Nations, many footsteps that I have crossed to the United Nations. And when I would travel to Washington, D.C. to meet with the politician and policy makers, again, you're finding at Port Authority in New York on 42nd Street, women with children. And in the dead of winter, this was going on in New York City. So Queen Mother decided to take that up as one of my humanitarian causes in New York, born out of the concern of women in need with children, not women in greed, but need, and fostered homesteading in Harlem at 477 West 142nd Street, almost 40 years ago, and setting up the property for women and their children. And in doing so, it's on Alexander Hamilton Grange Estate, which is, we call it the Green. Alexander Hamilton, if you don't know, and those of us who do know, he's on the $10 bill, and he is your father of economics on Wall Street. Our first historical secretary, the one who helped to craft economics in the United States of America. And so with him having his legacy left on Wall Street is a museum of Alexander Hamilton Grange. And what is befitting that I live on the Grange, I live on his estate, and place women on this estate with children. In the neighborhood is the largest university, City University, is City College of the City of University of New York. And the college and university, you have more than 3 Nobel Prize winners. And it's the place where the Secretary General, Kofi Annan of the United Nations, left his papers. So you're gonna know that I'm very moved that he brought it to the community of Harlem. And so saying all of that to say this, now I'm dealing with predatory lending and mortgage fraud about 14 years ago. And I'm in the court tomorrow, I will be there, and I'm fighting on every level to defend us having the right of shelter. That is a human right. So Queen Mother is driving this from evictions, and you know about the moratorium on eviction, which we got a holdover thanks to a woman in the Congress, a congressional person by the name of Congresswoman Bush, Cora Bush. And if you know that she spent nights in front on the steps of Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. So that is a noble act when we think of human rights for shelter. We have a right to food. Everyone has a right to food. So Queen Mother is saying even the poor and the powerless have the right to food. And we have a right to clothe ourselves from the elements of life. And again, I move toward human rights and just civil rights. Tomorrow, I ask for your prayers and giving the opportunity without an attorney to speak tomorrow an oral statement before the court. And lo and behold, the court where I would be speaking, not bankruptcy court of the U.S. Southern District, but the Southern District of Appeal of the United States. And it's called by a great man, Thurgood Marshall, a Black man, courtroom, Thurgood Marshall. So tomorrow, historically, Queen Mother will be standing before the judge in this particular courtroom, which is a federal courtroom, U.S. Southern District of Appeal. And I'm fighting against predatory lending and mortgage fraud. It is rampant, not only across the United States, but it's rampant in a place called New York. And we have a right to fight back, and Queen Mother is going to take that on as the challenge, continue to fight. And in saying that, the property where the women live is worth about $50 million. They don't think we deserve anything for homesteading and keeping property for all these years, which I would say almost 40 years. And then for the developers to come in our community and to rob us based on the issues of gentrification. They have no right to do so. So Queen Mother will be defending them without a law degree. I have passed to study law at Columbia University, but because of other priorities in my life, I haven't gotten around to it, but I have been involved with law school. So I'm not afraid of the court. And God we trust stands before me. So Queen Mother, stand there with God we trust. And so with God we trust, that's the only trust you better trust. In confronting us with our human rights, everyone have a right to food, to clothing and shelter. And so with that, I have picked my fight, and a historical group of artists, without telling Queen Mother, have put a monument in my honor and surprised me for social justice issues. And it's called Queen Mother of Reality. It's a big monument. It was scary for me when I first laid my eyes on it in the honor of an international mother. But it's about a just issue. And I was able to share that in 2019 with the Commission on the Commission of Social Development of the United Nations at their 75th anniversary of the United Nations. And there I will leave it by just asking for your prayers as Queen Mother stand before the court system. And please get the word out. It would be at 11 o'clock in the morning. I will leave to travel to the court since there's so many rules and regulation for social distancing and appearing in the court. So this is my first time going to the court before 2020. And now historically, I stand tomorrow. So I ask for your prayers and ask for your conscious energy that Queen Mother is doing on behalf of all of our people. across the United States of America in particular. And in looking particularly at our elders, stand with the elders, that they are forced out of their home before they want to be forced out. And based on that process, many of them become an ancestor much earlier they want to be, because they are pushed out because of this predatory fraud engaging with us. So I ask for your reflection and I ask for your prayers. And I thank all of you.
Thank you, Queen Mother. And what I would ask is that you put into the chat the link so that people can tune in tomorrow to the call. And also, if the executive director will copy the link and then send it out on the list. And so will Andrew Williams Jr., so that this is, there's an audience tomorrow. As we talk about tomorrow, one of the issues that we talk about on tomorrow's call is that agenda and talking about housing. As in the Black Folks Plan, talks about 7 million housing, and talking about seniors in housing. As you can see, I'm in transit right now. I'm going to turn the call back over. I should be back on, if you're still on, in the next 15 minutes. Thank you.
And thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Guy, if you're still with us, I'd like to, or if not, I'd like to bring to your attention, Queen Mother, in the chat, I put the 30 articles of the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights. So you're absolutely correct. And what I'm believing is that we have to be as well versed ourselves on what those human rights are. And that's the only way our children will be able to have an appreciation of just how powerful they are on this Mother Earth planet, not limited by the artificial constructs of any particular country. John Moss, you raised your hand.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, people, my camera is not working today, so you're not able to see my handsome face. But this is what comes out, so I'm not using it. So I just wanted to add to this, Queen Mother, if you don't mind, as you know, love and prayers. And I know we've spoken and I've given you my input with, again, my 30 plus years as the only mortgage trainer and real estate person in the entire United States of any race to get a letter of recommendation on ethics and non-predatory lending. So of my proven system that all the top banking associations have signed off on. And I have seen documentation, and I will share with you, I've seen literally thousands of cases similarly, but I have not seen one as grossly obvious as this fraud and defrauding and abuses of predatory lending, sadly, that's being taken against our Queen Mother. And for me, my grandmother, Grease Wood Woman. So it breaks my heart, but I'm with you.
And I thank you, but also I want you to know the fast horse, we tying down the line, tying down the land, not just the building. As a grandmother, indigenous grandmother, I have every right to the land. So we're tying that down by the brother assisting me, fast horse from Dakota, South Dakota.
Right, and it does start with the land.
Tying down the land. So they'll never be able to take anything again from us in our community, and continue to leave as a legacy to our youth, to our children who are yet not born. And so that's why Queen Mother is taking this on as one of her fights within society. And for the last 14 years, I'm still standing, and they're trying to figure out how is that happening. So I made it clear to them, God runs the world and we run around in it still.
I just like to make a statement. And listening to John Moss, I was wondering if is it possible for John Moss to prepare a statement to the effects of what you just stated as an expert witness?
At this short time, no, but I will be listening in on the call in
Yes,
support.
please do.
And what you already knew because of our conversations and others that are trying to be supportive of you. But, and I appreciate that, Ms. Kennedy, but time-wise, it's just, we're at the end and she's only allowed 15 minutes. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but she can submit 900 pages of documents, but that's why in this case, no. But there is a lot of documents that she has to back up all of her statements, in my opinion.
And not only that, that's, again, the court is open with the procedures and the protocol for those who want to attend the court tomorrow. But the biggest thing we have done, we put a press release together. Chairman Daniels has received it. I don't know, John, you got the last press release that has gone out widely to the media all over the planet Earth.
I've not gotten that.
Yes, well, Lavinia should have it. If you could just hit her on your phone or for the chat to send it to you. And if you could be so kind to put it in the chat. The last email press release has been released. And then tomorrow, there is from the National Black Journalists Association. They have sent someone to my home, and they are doing a documentary on Queen Mother and others around predatory lending and mortgage fraud. She will join me preparing for court to film me from Harlem to the courthouse tomorrow because she cannot film inside. And the court begins at 11. So we hope to produce a documentary film about it. I am writing about it. I'm doing a book. You know, Queen Mother is good at doing books. And I think this is a colorful story to tell the world because you wouldn't believe it. You say, no, no, no. And someone tried to tell me a story, and I say, maybe they missed something. They haven't missed anything in the story of predatory lending and mortgage fraud in the United States of America. Gentrification is real. And so it's wrong, but it's real. So Queen Mother has attacked gentrification for 14 years. When many said, Queen Mother, come on, I can give you the key to my house. Here's the keys. Queen Mother, you don't really need it. Yes, I do. I need every bit of it. Yes, Queen Mother need every bit of this fight, every bit of it. And to be able to tell the story myself, which I've been writing about this story. So the second or third documentary that has come out a part of this, and then putting it in the United Nations historically 2019 at the homeless conference, world conference they had at the United Nations, the Commission of Social Development. So I'm proud to be a part of this fight.
If I may be so kind, Guy, if you're there, I'm going to make a brief transition, Queen Mother, because the issues that we're facing here in the United States are not new, and they're not limited to the United States. But the United Nations, again, I do not condone, support, or even agree with many or even most of the decisions made, but I do recognize it as the largest worldwide organization that provides a framework through which we can work. One of those frameworks is UN Habitat. It's called actually UN Habitat 3. And every, I think, 20 years or so, they come up with a plan for these organizations and governments around the world. The reason it's relevant to you, Guy, is because here in the United States, it's the Department of Housing and Urban Development that is the United States interface with UN Habitat. So to the extent that we, His Excellency Sharif Balde has brought to the table housing opportunities and solutions, it seems to me very critical if, again, we can use existing frameworks and terminology to have this kind of conversation going forward. But Queen Mother, in your particular case, I give you my heartfelt thanks and gratitude and belief of an outcome that we all need to experience. And yes, the documentary efforts that you're going through allow you to tell your own narrative and to reach a wider audience than the one that you'll be appearing before tomorrow.
I thank you. And you're correct about habitat. At the United Nations, I have dealt with habitat because of being a local authority. And so your World Conference of Mayors really fit into local authorities, which I'm hoping that our chairperson, Johnny Ford, will think about that. If you're talking about joining the larger club of the United Nations, habitat is very befitting for local authority. I thank you.
You're welcome. Guy, did I see you unmute yourself? If not, if Guy is unable to proceed, then Bernice Aitchison, look up.
Yeah, I just want to again.
Okay, Guy, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank you.
Yes.
And Queen Mother for that. As you know, the United Nations in general try not to get involved in the local, in the country affair, but habitation is a human right, okay? For people to the right to have a shelter. That's why the United Nations has worked across the globe. And I'm actually, this is a topic that we in the US, we know that, but trust me, across the globe is even terrible, especially with all things we see what has happened from countries like where a lot of people have to leave their country, they don't have housing and things like that. So this, we are facing that in the United States, but it's a subject, the right to have a shelter is just like the right to have education and so many others. So the United Nations take that very seriously. And I actually have a friend that was a director of UN Habitat in Congo. I actually attended a conference with him, and I probably can bring him here sometime soon to talk to us. But whatever Queen Mother is doing is something that we need through this forum to bring across the globe. That's the best part about all this. We think it's not good here, but if you compare to what's happening around the world, it's even worse in other part of the world. So let's just seize the opportunity and use this to really improve the life of people around the world.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Again, Queen Mother, we are in, earlier they mentioned the International Decade for People of African Descent. Much like I think Elder Prophet will tell you, much like the 400th year, the commission for the commemorating the 400 years of African American heritage, it's a paper tiger until you add teeth to it. So I'm just suggesting that you add teeth to what you're doing so that when you take a bite, it's a big bite.
Thank you.
So Bernice Aitchison,
Thank you very much, Queen Mother. We'll be praying for you like you requested. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you.
All right, Bernice Aitchison, now's that time for you to smile to the camera, introduce yourself, and we're going to do a closing round of the people that are here. Oh, I see two hands up. Mary Uwera, you're ladies first. Mary, please unmute yourself.
Thought you guys wanted equal rights.
I want to applaud you for trying that. That is fantastic. Hardly has ever anybody tried Uwera. So that is a plus. I just want to be in solidarity with the Queen Mother and for the courage I know it is not all about just the court. It is all about being there for those ones who are not as of the capacity of Queen Mother. And that itself, it's a blessing. It's a voice for those that are not, because I know you can fight it in another way. But what I wanted to also bring at the forum is that yesterday we had somebody, apparently I came when she had already presented somebody who had presented on mental health.
Dr. Smith.
Yes, this has a big connection with our folks. When there is no stable shelter, then added to other millennium goals that we usually, which are well designed somewhere, but also when it comes to the practicality of them, we see the challenges here. I think it's, I'm glad that I hope that this court will bring some really action towards the challenges that we are facing or that we are experiencing, like this one, to the majority of our people. That's why we sometimes see people resorting to drug use, not because they want, but they want to cope up. So until things like decent shelter, education, other opportunities are out, not even here, even in Africa, then we can only just remain on what I would call fine speeches. But really, it's time to move on for tangible actions. I thank you.
Mr. Williams, you know, I'm at awe, and I'm so humble because to be on this program and to meet such great people from so many different areas that has such a vast educational background and is willing to share that background with me, I'm humble. But I'd like to say to Queen Mother, we as mothers, whatever we do, right or wrong, we do it for the children, for the best interest of the children and the legacy that we leave. So we always err on the side of the right. And your fight tomorrow is not with the court, it's with principalities, you know, but you'll be able to stand because women that are called by God, he prepared them before he sent them. I know because I'm one of those that God prepared and then he sent. And then she went and she been trouble, but good trouble ever since. So we're going to wrap our prayers around you. And we know that God knows all, hears all, and able to manage whatever come before. And I've gone through any number of courts. I'm not a lawyer either, but I have standing before the court that says that I can represent all 750 of the people in Chilton County, 66,000 all over the states. So you know what? With the power of God, we can do it. We can do it. Because when it get rough, we can lean on each other. And yes, you can get the keys to the house. If you need a place to go, just come on. We'll talk about great things. And we'll read books and we'll share history because you and I both have lived history in the making.
Amen.
So we thank you.
Thank you.
In that note, John, I see your hand is up. I don't know if it was previously raised or if you raised it again, but do you have any comment before I move forward?
Oh, you know it was up. Yes. So, sorry, I hit the wrong link. I was trying to remove the hand. So Yes. First, related to what Guy had mentioned earlier, as well as everyone, the foundation of where a lot of these challenges come from is financial literacy. And I put in the chat again, my free webinars that are good for everybody. Yes, I'm best known for mortgage, but my training and communication skills are from all over the world. So that is in there. So everyone has action step that they can just link in. But also, Queen Mother, I just got off the phone with Lavinia and she's sending me that link. And as soon as I get it, I will get it to Ms. Kennedy and Mr. Williams. So hopefully they can forward it to everybody, as I don't have access to everyone's emails and so forth.
Thank
Okay.
you. Very good. Thank you so much,
Thank you
John.
very much.
Speaking to the chat, yesterday, I did take the time afterwards to actually put the chat into a document. So I put a link to that document from yesterday's event. It has links to all of the different resources that were made available. And I put it up on SlideShare, so you can either download it or access it. Also, I put into the chat the complete recording from yesterday. If I have the resources and time, I'll do the same thing from today's chat for tomorrow. But I do want you to know that it's important that we document what we're doing, because then, of course, we have an opportunity to leverage that to a wider audience, whether that be not just to Facebook, but it may be to a cable television show, it may be to CNN, it may be to NBC. But if we don't have it, we can't do anything with it. So I just want to encourage everyone to just be aware of how important the fact that we are here doing this is so important to our children and our family and to the rest of the world. So I do want to thank you so much for your openness in sharing this. Thank you.
You're so right, Mr. William, because I had a call from a reporter that asked for some information that went on in 1999. And by the grace of God, fortunately enough, I had pulled it off and I have a copy of it. And I shared that with her. She and her editor will be here next week in order to film it and to put it on a disc where it will be saved.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bernice. Andrew, I just wanted to add that you also placed the link in WhatsApp. I was able to review. I had a meeting that conflicted last night. So today I was able to review the meeting last night. And so I'm very glad I did. Thank you for putting it in WhatsApp. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. By the way, I did put into the chat the link to the article about AHIABGA-TV. It was published last year in the Guardian newspaper, although the information's been available for quite some time. That's the most recent reference I could find, but it is in the chat telling about the history of the word of AHIABGA-TV, as well as the word for Africa.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to open the floor to close the floor. So the floor is open.
I just wanted to say something real quick to Queen Mother, that I join everyone else in standing with you in solidarity tomorrow. And not because I even think that you need that from me. I'm just sitting here looking and listening to you for some time over these last days. And so what came to my mind tonight was, and I can't quote the entire thing, but what came to my mind was the story of Elisha and his servant when the Syrians, I think it was, were coming. And so Elijah told the servant, when the servant got so anxious about it, I know that you're not, but he got anxious and said, we got two of us and all of them. And he said, open your eyes, pray for his eyes to open. He said, they're more with us than with you. So I'm standing in solidarity because I know there's a lot of power with you. And so I'm standing with you and with the power that stands with you. And so I know that around you, I'm sure that I'm confident that is palpable for you, that the ancestors who stand with you and the work you've done is palpable. So I stand with you in that power so that I am enriched as you go forth with the forces of the unseen that walk with you daily, not just today, not just tomorrow, they walk with you for some time. And so I stand with you in that and take feel honored to be able to do so.
And that is where it's at, Prophet. That's exactly where it is. They could not see the vision, but Elijah knew that God was there.
And the heavens were full. They looked up and
Yes.
the heavens were full.
Yes, yes.
Heavens and so I can look at your Queen Mother and I know. So I stand with you because it's a good place to stand.
Yes, yes. The crowd is there.
Well, again,
May I come in and put the African perspective of what you have just presented. In Africa, traditionally, when you are going to court with your rights and justice on your side, that means justice has moved out of the courts and it is walking with you to the courts to be recognized. And they must recognize the justice that has accompanied you there and accept it. So be confident that you are taking justice to the courts for them to recognize and acknowledge it.
emergency. I'm afraid I have to end this at a hard stop right now. Someone else had a scheduled appointment at 6 and I forgot.
Yes,
So I
yes.
apologize, but we have to end this today. We'll pick it up tomorrow. I love you all.